Hello everyone, welcome to Learnetude. This is your teacher Sonal Devgan, and today is a very important class for the students of class 12th CBSE Board who are preparing for the subject English Code 301. So this question came previously in the year 2025 and it was in the section C literature. So this question is asked from the poem Keeping Quiet, which is in your syllabus. And this poem was written by the poet Pablo Neruda, who was a renowned 20th century poet. And he was from the country Chile. He was given Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. Right? So let's read the question. Question says read the following extract and answer the questions for any one of the given two, A or B. So in this question you'll be given two options. You can attempt any one. Do not attempt both because that will be a waste of time. So either attempt or answer question number A or question number B. And each of these two extracts, 6 questions will be asked, 1 mark each. So this question is total of 6 marks, right? So let's read together this extract or stanza from the poem Keeping Quiet. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look back at his hurt hands. Now, while reading, you would notice that this poem is not like an ordinary poem, or you can say a nursery rhyme. While reading, it's more sounding like a paragraph, not like any other poem. Why? Because this is in free verse. Free verse is a poem. A poem which is written in free verse has no rhyme, no rhythm, and consequently, it doesn't sound like a music at all and is not musical in nature. So, what is rhyme? When the words ending at the end of each line in the poem are sounding similar. For example, in the nursery rhyme, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So, star and are, they both are sounding similar at the end. So, that creates a musical effect, that creates a rhythm, and that is the uniqueness of most common poems, right? So let's take a look at this question. Question number 1 says, how, according to the poet, can we create this exotic moment? So, where are these words exotic and moment written? These are located in the first line here, exotic moment. Now, some of you must be familiar with this word, but for most of you, is exotic can be a difficult word. So, what do we mean by exotic? Exotic is an adjective which means originating with characteristics of distant or foreign country or land. For example, I tried exotic fruits last year on my vacation to Australia. Or I bought some exotic chocolates from Africa, right? So exotic fruits, it's exotic is something which is not found locally. And when we see something exotic, then it is attractive in nature, it is rare, unique, and extraordinary. Isn't so? And what about moment? What do we mean by moment? Moment is a noun which is a brief period of time and is of some importance. So together, exotic moment phrase, what does it mean? What does it refer to? What do we infer by it? It means an experience or a feeling or a moment or a period of time which is rare, unique, extraordinary, out of the ordinary, isn't so? So that is the meaning of exotic. Now, how, according to the poet, can we create this exotic moment? This question is of 1 mark, so you have to be very brief. You have to write only one or two sentences or lines. That's it. So, how will we writing this? Let's take a look. So, you'll start off by writing, according to the poet, we can create this exotic moment by, I'm giving you three options, so you have to write any one. All right, either one, two, or three. So the first is by keeping quiet and enjoying the moment of stillness and silence. So, silence and stillness, these two words. From where did we find these two words, stillness and silence? From the line second of the stanza. Without rush, without engines. Rush is an activity which is done at a speed. Associate it with a very common word, rush hour. Rush hour refers to the office hours mainly, when in the morning and evening people are commuting from work or they're commuting to the work. So at the bus station, at the railway stations, and on the road there is a lot of traffic, there is a lot of footfall, there is crowd, there is rush, and in rush there is chaos, and there is noise, right? And so, and what will happen when there will be no rush? So there will be no noise and no chaos, that is, there would be stillness, there would be rest. People will be at rest. For example, the early morning hours or at the weekends, there is stillness, there is rest, right? And without engines. Without engines, we can refer to them as machines. Machines or technology we use in our day to day lives. So, machines and technology and vehicles, anything which is automated, which is not done manually, they create a lot of noise and pollution. And so, without engines, without vehicles, without machines, there would be silence, there would be stillness, there would be less pollution, less noise. So, there would be tranquility and peace, and we'll be keeping quiet. Imagine, and that would create an exotic moment, isn't so? So, we are all busy in our day to day lives, especially in the cities, we experience a monotonous and chaotic life. So, those who can afford, they go on a vacation which is far away, remote island or some mountain area. So, a vacation at a beach or in the nature or in a mountain can be quite relaxing. And that creates an exotic, a rare, a unique feeling, an important experience, right? And second is through self reflection and introspection. So, what do we mean by self reflection? Well, self reflection is a noun which means a serious thought about ourselves, our actions, our character. And introspection is also a noun which means the examination or observation of our mental and emotional process. So, from which lines in the extract we analyze self reflection and introspection that the poet is talking about. From these lines, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look back at his hurt hands. So, fisherman in the cold sea is harming the whale. Whale is an aquatic mammal and it is very big in size and it is hunted illegally and unethically for the meat. So, whale, the body parts of whale are used in industrial processes, and the fat called as blubber is used for industrialization process and morally not good. So fishermen in the cold sea, when the fisherman undergoes self-reflection, when he gives a serious thought about his actions, then he can decide to not harm the animal, to not kill or murder an innocent soul, an innocent living organism, just for the selfish reasons. Yes, fishes and seafood in the places which are nearby the sea are the primary source of food and it is used for survival. But in this 21st century, animal cruelty is a reality, and for the fast economy to feed the overpopulation, animals are breeded on a very large scale, and that is also disrupting the ecological balance, right? And to kill an animal for the body parts used in the industrial process is very disturbing thing. So, yes. And introspection, the man gathering salt would look back at his hurt hands. So the salt is very corrosive in nature. Although we use it in our day-to-day lives, it is an important ingredient in our food. We eat it daily, but salt, if you keep it on your skin for a very long period of time, it will degrade it, it will wound your skin and it will bleed and it will be very painful. So the man gathering salt laborers, they are in very poor financial conditions, and to keep their families off the debts, to keep and or bring the food at their table, to keep their houses running, they keep on working in the salt, they keep on creating and making the salt, and in that process they're so busy that they simply ignore and forget about their pain and their damaged body, their health, etc. So in the moment of introspection, when there is quietness, stillness and silence in the world, then the man gathering salt would look back, would have the time to look back at his hurt hands, that the salt had the salt has damaged his skin so much, right? And the third option you can write is by suspending all activity and not rushing. So again, this is similar to the point number one, right? So you can write any one of the point after this and you will get the full marks, or you can simply merge them in one sentence by keeping quiet and enjoying the moment of stillness and silence and self-reflection or introspection. All right, I hope this question was clear to you. So next question is, choose the correct option. The outcome of fisherman's activity led to the dash destruction or protection of environment. So the fisherman activity is kill or murder or hurt the whale, which is an innocent animal which is not hurting the fisherman at all. The whales are happily living in the oceans and the fisherman is living on the land, right? Whale is not disrupting or disturbing his life, but fisherman intently is killing and hurting the whale for the body parts, for the fat, etc. So So if any one of the species in this beautiful created world by our creator is hunted down, is killed unnecessarily, that creates a disturbance in the ecological balance and that destructs our environment. So the right answer is destruction. This is the right answer. It is not at all protecting. It is the outcome, that is the result of fishermen's activity, that is the mass killing and murdering or the hurting of the whales is causing destruction of our environment. Okay. Next is, what is the outcome of this exotic moment? We discussed in the question number 1 quite in depth about the exotic moment. So the correct answer is no rush and no mechanization. No rush and no mechanization we get from this line, without rush, without engines. So no rush and no mechanization. Mechanization again is associated with engines, with vehicles, factories, etc. So the common outcome, the common result, or the consequence of this exotic moment is no rush and no mechanization, that is stillness and silence. And why not B, C, and D? Why these are wrong answer? Well, men would be gathering salt. So gathering or collection or making of salt is just like any other work process. And if the man is continuing to gather the salt, then he is hurting more and more his body, his hands. And that is not what the poet wants from us. He wants the man who is gathering salt to introspect, to self reflect, and to stop for a moment and to see and take a look and observe and examine his body, right? Then option C, there would be a strangeness among warring nations. Well, this whole poem, Keeping Quiet, is about wars. The war is mentioned in this poem, but in this particular extract given in this question, there is no mention of war or warring nations, so this is not relevant here. And then fisherman will look at his hands. Well, this is a very clever option given to confuse students, and it is actually a factual mix up to confuse these students. Well, the real fisherman will look at his hands. No, it's not fisherman, it's the salt labor. It is the man who is collecting the salt. So fisherman is hurting the whales, is causing a harm to the whales. They are dying, but it doesn't hurt his hands. So this is clearly a factual mix up, right? So this is not the right answer at all. Next, fourth, choose the correct option. The tone of the poet is dash, appealing or introspective in the line. And the man gathering salt would look back at his hurt hands. Well, answer is introspective. Introspection is examination or observation of one's mental and emotional process, right? So the poet wants us to introspect, to self analyze, to soul search ourselves, what we are doing. He wants the man who is gathering the salt to look back at his damaged body, the bleeding, the painful hands. And he's not appealing at all. So this is the right answer, not appealing. Why not appeal? Well, appeal is quite a weak word here as compared to introspective. So appeal is to plead or request. And it's quite possible that if you appeal to someone, then there is a strong chance that he or she, the person to whom you're appealing, can simply ignore it. So the poet doesn't want us to ignore, he is making stress and he wants us all to undergo introspection and self reflection, right? And question number 5 is, the poet uses the expression sudden strangeness to suggest. So the answer is, so you can write anyone unusual experience or uniqueness of the experience or universal peace or brotherhood or harmony, right? So, this sudden strangeness, why the exotic moment or the moment of stillness and silence is a sudden strangeness? Well, living living in 21st century, which is very fast, and there is a lot of chaos, and we are used to the noise, we are used to the chaos, we are used to the rush, and a sudden stillness or silence can be quite strange. Imagine or look back at the COVID lockdown when we all got the orders that there will be a lockdown. So, everyone, most of us, were finding it very strange because a stillness, a silence, we are not accustomed to it. We are used to the chaos, to the noise, to the pollution, to the rush, to the activity, to the speed. And the last question is, read the assertion and the reason below with reference to the given extract. So, assertion states the poet advocates for taking a break to introspect the damage inflicted by man. What do we mean by advocate? Advocate means to recommend or to suggest. So, the poet is recommending, suggesting, pleading us, all humans, to take a break, to introspect, to self reflect, to take a look at our actions, to examine our actions, the damage that we humans have inflicted on this planet, Mother Earth. Right? So, we all know that we have been selfishly damaging our environment, stripping of the nature earth, the mother earth. We are taking all the resources, we have taken all the resources, and we have cutted down the trees and causing a lot of pollution. And this has caused a major global climate crisis. You can see the rise in the floods, the number of storms, the global temperature is rising, the species are dying, the ozone layer is affected. Isn't so? So, the poet is pleading us, recommending us, advocating us to take a break and take a look at what we have done to this environment, to our Mother Earth. And the reason is the introspection will make man's life better. Not only man's life, not only our human life, but also it will make this whole planet Earth a better place. It will help a lot of aquatic animals, all the species on this planet Earth. If we use less plastic, if we stop using plastic, if we reduce our waste, if we reuse our resources, if we recycle our resources, then the oceans would be clean, the rivers would be clean, there would be less pollution, our bodies will be healthy, all the species will live a better life. So we have to choose the correct option regarding the relationship. Well, A says both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is not the correct explanation. No, reason is the explanation. The reason explains very well the assertion. B, both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. This is the right answer. Both are true and reason is explaining well the assertion. Then C, assertion is true, reason is false. No, both are true. Assertion is false, reason is true. No. So this is only the correct answer, B. You have to write this. This is of 1 mark. Okay. All right. So I hope you found this lesson helpful in your preparation for the exam. I wish you all the best for your exams. I hope you found this lesson helpful. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.